Good morning. Good morning, everyone. How are y'all doing today? How'd y'all's weekend go? Here we are, back at it again. Back at it again. New week, new day, new month. Let's see how it goes. We have Trump tentatively speaking today, so gotta, keep that financial juice going. Morning, Chris, David, Rich, Greasy, Shadow, Tyler, John, Enrico, Corey. How are y'all doing? All right. Let's jump right into it. So, we hit that daily fair value gap here last week on Friday. We had our first up close candle in multiple days. So, I went ahead and had to mark out my new monthly highs and lows for February, my new weekly highs and lows for last week. And as you can see, today we gapped up here. Might have a volume imbalance if this closes up. I'd be curious to see if we close this potential imbalance. We are reaching all the way through this fair value gap on the daily here. So if we do invert this, then my bias would have to turn bullish up until we reach to this daily fair value gap up here, and then see what happens there. So right now, I'm a little neutral. I'm a little bit more neutral on my overall bias, because we're technically we haven't closed this daily fair value gap, even though we rebalanced it completely. So I'd be curious to see if we rebalance it, reach up through buy side and drop, or if we're going to continue reaching up for all these new day opening gaps over here for last week, and opening range gap that never got closed, and daily fair value gap up there. So it's going to be interesting to see. And I'm going to have to start clearing out some of these new day opening gaps pretty soon. But that's the daily chart. And I marked this one out. We have a 1 hour fair value gap right here that we just reached right into at the open. Dropped there, hit this 1 hour fair value gap right there. And I have this buy side liquidity. If I drop down to the 15 minute, right here, here's our buy side liquidity. We have relatively equal highs. We're taking that now into this 15-minute fair value gap. So we reached right in here, took this minor sell side, pushing right on up. So we may not see it come back down. We have that 1 hour fair value gap there. It's going to be interesting to see. We may not see it. We have this buy side liquidity. So I'll be watching this fair value gap, and then we have another one here. We have a lot of buy side liquidity up here as well. So I'm going to mark this in case we do keep going up. Right here, buy side liquidity that we kept leaving last week, and we never, ever traded back up to. I'm going to mark this 15-minute gap right here and those new day opening gaps. So we'll see if we do go up, or if we want to just rebalance this, take that buy side and continue dropping. We'll see. New week opening gap here. Pretty good size one right here. And then I'm going to drop down to my 1 minute and see what we're looking at for an opening range gap right here. And then we had the open right here. We had the close right there. Opening range gap. We got 903.50. The high side is 055. So more than 120 points. Could potentially see it not close that gap. So we'll look. We'll wait and see. Wait and find out. So that's my analysis for the morning. Or my framework. So we'll see. This I like. So we reached up here, right? And we immediately came back in to this range from inside buy side liquidity. So we'll see if we stay down here or if we keep pushing up. But 930, here's our first presented fair value gap right there. So we'll see. Does this hold up as support and keep pushing it up, or does it get inverted and it come down? I will on this opening range gap, since it is so large, I'm going to add in a quadrant here, an upper quadrant, this 75 right here, to see if we do reach down to that. I mean, we opened and we came down. I don't know. We may not go lower than this 1 hour gap. We'll see. We shall see. Not for me. If you're looking at NQ, maybe, but right here, see, we have 930. Oh, I see what you're talking about. That little bitty one. Yeah, I don't like that little bitty. This to me is more telling right here than that little bitty. Like that's 061. That's 2 points. So I don't like little bitty gaps like that. Like I want obvious. So here we are dropping down. We took buy side liquidity. See what it does here at this 1 hour gap again. Look at this volatility. Yeah, good morning, Binge. Good to see you. Yeah, last week I only took 2 trades. I had 1 loser and 1 winner. Of course, my loser was like total across all accounts was like $3,000. My winner was like almost $10,000. So money management. So we'll see. Right back to this 1 hour fair value gap again. If at this point we revert back above this first presented, I believe we'll go up. But now we have a fair value gap right here. Like I'm not trading this yet. I'm waiting for it to shake out and kind of like do its thing. Like I don't want to short that. It's too early. It may go, it may not, but yeah, I don't want to. I mean, it should go down from here. It shouldn't. See, it left this fair value gap inside this one that it inverted. I mean, but then we have that 1 hour fair value gap there too. So I'm just going to wait a little bit because I don't want it to. It's early. It's too early for my trade, my entry. And then I want to see this get disrespected this 1 hour. Because again, remember, I'm kind of in the neutral at the moment for my overall bias. I'm a little more bearish just because we haven't closed through that daily fair value gap, but a little more neutral than the other way around. Right down to the new week opening gap. Yeah, look at that. Hit that one right there nicely, very nicely, and just drop. And see, that's what you like to see. If you have a clear buy side liquidity like this, you want to see it shoot up through and spend no time and come back down. Like, that's really nice. There's still more buy side liquidity to the upside, but remember, we still have reasons it could come down as well. Here's my sell side liquidity, London low. And then down here, you have all the lows. Previous day low, last month low, last week low, everything down here, right below that daily fair value gap. So that's going to be interesting to see if we, keep moving down or what we do. And if I miss anything, like if this just keeps going, because this was just too early for me. So like, yeah, this would be a great entry right here at this 937 bar. Doesn't quite fit into my model though. Like, yeah, it took my side. I have clear sell side liquidity. That would have been nice. It's just 7 minutes after the open. It's real volatile. Sometimes that's just burned me. So I wait. But as you can see on the 15-minute here, with this displacement down, we may get a fair value gap. If we get one here, then I'll either trade a pullback to it or wait till it gets to it and take a short from it. But we'll see. We have this fair value gap here. Want to see if we build some support here. I mean, resistance, if it holds, I may look to short that. But you got to be careful because it could reach up, higher, could overshoot this. Get rid of this 1 hour so I can see a little better. And we're inside this daily fair value gap right now. Here's the midpoint of it right here. And I have clear reasons why I have a nice sell side liquidity right down here. The new week opening gap right down here. There's a lot of reasons price could continue down. Just have to be careful with this 15-minute fair value gap here. So nice, Julian, already done for the day. Took sells right before the open. Good job. And see, some days I don't have 9:45 and 10 a.m. news. I already checked. Let me see. Must be low impact. I got 8:45 and 9 a.m., which already happened. If it's not orange or red folder, I don't pay attention to it really. Let me check yellow folder. Are you talking about yellow folder? I don't have yellow folder either. You looking at the right day? No, that was 9 a.m. I'm on Eastern time zone. Unless if this changed. Well, why would my website be everything is Eastern time zone? It always has been. Why would look, yeah. Forex Factory went to Central time for me. I'm glad y'all said that. I don't know why that changed. I actually have never even noticed this. Oh, look, match automatically. There we go. I have never noticed that. I'm glad y'all said that because I have never noticed that there's a time zone that you can set. Oh, I'm not logged in. That's why. Let's see. What? Now it won't let me log in. That's weird. This week. Yeah, I never knew that there was a clock up there. I've never noticed that. I thought that was kind of weird having 9 a.m. news, but didn't really pay attention. There we go. I had no idea that this time clock was up there. I never noticed that. Okay. Oh, Forex Factory changed for you too? That is weird. Okay. All right. That makes a little more sense, I guess. So 9:45 a.m., 10 a.m. news. So we don't forget. See, and I checked. That's why I was like, news already happened, but I didn't see anything in the chart. And then I was like, I did think about that. Like, that's kind of weird time, but whatever. Okay. Well, good. Then, even more reason for me to sit on my hands and wait. Good morning, Max. Good morning. Well, I mean, it's been almost 5 years. This month will be 5 years of trading, and I've been using Forex Factory for almost every year that I've been trading, and it's never done that. So I don't know. I've never had that. Well, if I'm reading the charts, the news is only supposed to make it do what it's supposed to do anyways. So it maybe would have taken a little hesitancy out of me if I didn't know about the news. I'll still get you a coffee though, Chris. No, Chris. I got your coffee. Erlen, that would be Chris. Chris has the Edge Trader VPS company. The flyer, if you look on my little flyers that rotate there, you'll see it. If you use code Beast, but you'll get some discounts. But yeah, if you have any questions, Chris can answer them. He knows a little bit more than I do about that. Just a little bit. Kidding. He knows way more. All right, so I will be watching. We may. So here's where you got to be a little careful. We do have this 1 minute fair value gap. We do have 10 a.m. news. Also, at the 15 minute, we do have this displacement down. So I would want to see this remain open if I'm looking for a short. So as it's coming back up, that's where it's a little, you got to be a little bit careful because I wouldn't just short here because it may want to rebalance this if price wants to remain bullish, because overall I'm still a little neutral, slightly more bearish. I gotta be aware that it could go up, but I don't think it will. I'm looking for a short now. Like, got this little fair value gap right here, but I gotta wait. I don't know. It's looking pretty solid. I gotta wait though. I gotta make sure we're building up some resistance in here before I just hop in, because it could just pop up and try to rebalance that candle. I don't think it does, but just gotta make sure we do, especially that news coming up in 10 minutes. Yeah, we got that 5 minute as well. See, and this is the thing, like it could trade back up in this area. And if you have a tight stop, then you could get knocked out on what could be a trade that would eventually come down. See, we have this little fair value gap right here. Let me get rid of this line right here. So we have this little fair value gap right here. So I'd kind of like to see this get inverted. Right here. There we go. Then we never closed below this 15-minute one on the 15-minute chart. See, here's this 5-minute one as well, overlapping. Yeah, that could be it right here, but and we're below the daily fair value gap now. Look, and this was right off the midpoint of that daily fair value gap, that bearish daily fair value gap. That was probably a great entry right here. That was probably the entry of the morning. Watch this inversion. and this potential fair value gap. Yeah, I may have missed the move. We'll see. It's 950 now. This is very likely at this point to go ahead and go all the way through this sell side liquidity here. All right, I'm going to watch this right here. Be careful though. I don't want it to overshoot. We have that news. See, that news messes me up. See, this could have been a short right here too. Might be missing. I'm a little hesitating today. Not gonna lie. Yeah, look, another one right here. I'm hesitating today. The news got me messed up. Yeah. This might be, let's see, we should displace all the way down through this sell side liquidity. So basically, since I missed both entries, I just have to wait and let it sweep sell side, and wait for this 15-minute fair value gap to form and try to look for the pullback, basically up to that 15-minute fair value gap. Since I missed this entry and this entry. But this one, like, there's still the reason I think, I mean, so this isn't exactly my reversal, right? Because it's a continuation. However, we did sweep buy side, so that's clean. Buy side, and then I would have liked an entry here. Like, this is the best entry, but it was way early for me. So I like to stick to my rules. And then this one, yeah, it was a couple minutes before 950, but that's fine. But then it got me, I know news is coming out. See, I still am not very good playing like the news or right around the news. Sometimes it gets me second guessing and waiting. So, and then here, because I know we've pushed down so far, but I mean, I'm very confident we're going to get through this sell side liquidity in this area. Closed the gap, opening range gap. We traded all the way through it now. And the new week opening gap. I really liked this entry right here. There we go. Man, missed it. See, I mean, this was the best entry right here for me. Right here. See, I was looking a little bit too much into this 15-minute fair value gap too, because we reached down here and the body closed above the midpoint and we touched previous day high here. So we came back up, and here, that's why I was waiting to see if we built up resistance here. That way I know we're going to drop, but I mean, it just tapped it and went. But that's the risk, you know? Sometimes it happens. So now basically I'm waiting for it to draw down into this 15-minute fair value gap. 10 a.m. Look for 10 a.m. reversal and see if I can get me a market structure shift and trade a pullback to the 15-minute fair value gap that it's going to form. And we have this 1 hour as well overlapping. So we'll see. We'll see if we get that or not. Yeah. Good job, everybody that got that. This right here was the best entry for me. Right here. Why'd you close it, Chris? You got that's what you have targets for. Well, see, and I was also looking at my stop sizing because here, that's what I was kind of saying while this was happening. If I enter somewhere in here, we're at like, what's this, around 003, 006, wherever you end up getting filled. But like your stop, if you're just up right here above this candle, I mean, you're already at a almost 40-point stop. But price very could, like, you have to expect it could trade up into this. Should it? Probably not, and it didn't. But if you really wanted the best stop, it would be up here. But then you're talking about a 70, 80-point stop. So the stop was huge for this pullback. So that's why I wanted to wait and see it build up some resistance. And then here, when it came back here, I was kind of looking at the same thing. But here it's 960. My stop would have been up here. I mean, 50 points. And I just went back to my normal contract sizing as well. So 50 points on my normal contract sizing would be a massive loss. So because of the volatility, I might need to go back down to reduced sizing just to, or wait for the regular size stops that I look for. Nah, Chris, you got to have when there's clear targets, it's gonna get there. Like I had zero doubt it's gonna stop before sell side liquidity here. There's like no way it would have. All right, got 10 seconds. I'm watching this fair value gap here. See if it gets inverted or not. Because now we're at a point where we've drawn down far enough to where we could potentially see a price stop. So I'm watching fair value gaps to see if they get inverted. Rebalance this 15-minute completely. I mean, there's still room to go further down. This big yellow volume imbalance right there. We got that one now formed. Way up there. I don't think price returns, though. Now we got this potential volume imbalance. Zelensky is saying an end to the war is very, very, very far away. Got this volume imbalance. So we'll see if we invert this. We got a low, high, lower, low, and make a high. We could have a potential breaker here as well. And then I could take this high. This high, this low, if that's as far as we're going to reach down to. And equilibrium is right here. It's previous day high. Right up here would be a target, but it has to show a clear sign of reversal first. Especially with the news dropping and all the red headlines right now. Got to be careful. So this is a rebalance of this 15-minute, and then look where the bodies are closing now. So I want to see if we invert this area and displace up and just get a potential move right back up to here. That's all I need, really. We do have another 5-minute fair value gap right there, right here. But like I said, there's still, like we have this new day opening gap, daily fair value gap, and all those lows down there. So we'll see. See if we keep moving or not. Well, and let me go to the 15-minute. I didn't mark this because I wasn't sure. I thought I would be done trading by the time if price came down here. But we have that one too, that 15-minute fair value gap. So I'm going to just mark that overlapping just to see. All right. Now, waiting to see if we invert this area and leave a fair value gap or not. I'm watching the wicks. You see how this wick reached down, closed. Reached up, closed. And this one reached down, closed up here. All right, same thing here. We'll see where this one closes, but now they just keep reaching down and closing up. That's showing some bullish pattern. Just something that I watch to see. Doesn't mean it will be bullish, but got another 5-minute gap here. Right here. 5-minute fair value gap right here. So we got to see if some of this gets traded through. Especially, this move down, you can't be very quick to just say, we're going long now. Just trying to immediately rebalance that volume imbalance on the 15. If it does end up going up and closing up. We did invert this area. First sign for me that we may be getting ready to do a nice little pullback. But as you can see, there's no imbalances, no displacement up, nothing. So if we get nothing and we just kind of like slowly trickle up here, then I'll wait till we reach this area and then look for another short. So that's why I'm constantly looking, like I'm not just set in stone one way or the other. And that's because I go for low-hanging fruit. Like if I was trying to take the big trades that ICT teaches, then you do have to wait for one way or the other. Or like say I'm only looking for longs this day, or I'm only looking for shorts this day. But because I only take low-hanging fruit, 30 to 60 points, I just wait. I could take pullbacks or the displacement. I still think this was the best trade so far right here. But yeah, in hindsight, I'm kind of glad I didn't take it. Like, yeah, it would have been great to get this win, but man, that would have been a big stop. All right. So here we go. Pulling up, reaching back down again, still closing around the midpoint of this inversion. This is all inversions now. Now we're looking to reach up. So I know that's not an inversion fair value gap, but I'm just flipping it to reaching up into that 5 minute here. This is why you can't get too eager to just say, oh, market structure is shifting and let's go ahead and go long. You can't get too eager about that. May not be the case. And you see if the wicks, you treat them like gaps. See how this one reached into the upper half and moved up. So like it is looking like we may be shifting up, but you gotta be careful. Because it might not be either. I'm going to get rid of this 15-minute fair value gap because I already know we traded through it. We rebalanced it. It's not closed on the 15-minute, but I know we traded through it. And this low is the lower portion of it. Now, if it reclaims all this, we could be heading lower. And that's where I could look for a short down to this area. I watch the midpoint of this wick. This would be an order block. So I want to watch the opening of this candle. Now, if we do get something here, some resistance, we reclaimed all this. If we get resistance here, I may look to short through the low. Right in here. So I got to wait and see if we get resistance here. It's hitting that order block. See if it holds at the midpoint of the body. But you see if the wicks act like gaps, again, came right to the upper quadrant here. It was not unable to go through the lower half, stayed right at the upper quadrant. This being disrespected completely. Higher lows here. We did not make any lower lows. Watch this wick now. Midpoint of that wick right there. So I know this wick is midpoint of that wick. Watch this potential fair value gap. It's a little bitty, but I'm going to keep my eye on it right here. Because you see it keeps like it inverted this area, reclaimed it, inverted it. Now we have less than 2 minutes and we'll get a 15-minute fair value gap right in here as well. And that's where it might pull up to just this area and then drop again. We'll wait. You just don't want to get caught up in this back and forth. Now, if we take these lows with displacement and a fair value gap, then I'll probably short it. I got to wait for it to really show its hand at this point. It's looking like it's going to continue down. It traded very clean to that upside right after the open and swept that buy side liquidity. I don't think it trades all the way up there. Just waiting for this potential fair value gap right here. And then in less than a minute, if this doesn't close up right here, we'll get a 15-minute volume imbalance. So let's see what happens. 10:15. Man, I got it cold in here today. It's warming up outside, so it's staying cold in my little office, freezing. You turned up my AC. All right, looks like we are going to get that volume imbalance. I'm thinking we displace further down to this area. There we go. We got that 15-minute volume imbalance. There you go, 15-minute volume bounce. Let's see if we trade up through it and then displace down. See, we're engineering some minor sell side liquidity here to displace down. Got this inversion that we just tapped. I don't know if you can see that right there, little bitty inversion. No displacement yet. See, these are huge stops. Like, even if I got in somewhere anywhere here, I mean, we're looking at 60, 70 point stop. Oh, we did get that 15-minute fair value gap as well. Let me mark that. Chart's getting full markups here. Reached back up there. Into that inversion. See if we displace down. This point, I'm leaning a little bit more towards this being a nicer target down here. I think we reached that, but we'll see. There's nothing to enter off of yet. Now it's trying to reach up into that volume imbalance. Okay, tapped it. Let's see if we displace through these lows here. See how we're engineering all this little sell side, minor sell side liquidity here? We traded up here really nicely. And then here met the halfway point of the wick. And then we're engineering all this sell side liquidity. So if we do reach up, that I feel like we're going to displace through all these lows. But let's see if we need to trade through this volume imbalance first on the 15-minute. At least trade through the top of it here. And then look for it. We have that fresh 15-minute fair value gap right here as well. Get rid of this because it's obstructing my view. Get rid of these smaller ones inside there. Don't need them. All right, let's see if we get an immediate rebalance of this candle, or if we at least trade through this high right here. There we go. Now we traded through that volume imbalance. And let's see if it comes down now. Or if it wants to reach into this 15-minute fair value gap first, which that's a possibility. But see, if I took a long here, like let's say it leaves this fair value gap, or if I took a long anywhere, my stop would have to be below these lows. And where would my stop be? At liquidity. Like my stop would be liquidity. So I would not want to do that. Just wait for it to reach up back up into here and then look for a short. Especially because we have this fresh 15-minute fair value gap right here. Like I don't see us really just inverting that and going up. So this is an area that I like to go short from. Tapping the low of the opening range gap, hitting this 15-minute fair value gap. And if we spend no more time up here, like I don't want to see it keep reaching up. I want it to right in this area now. Go ahead and come back down. If we keep going up, then it's just going to be like, eh. And then I just have to call it is what it is, and I missed the trade today. So from here, I don't want to see it really go up any further. Let me get rid of all this junk down here now. See, we're reaching up inside this 15-minute fair value gap. Like, I don't want to see it. I want to see it come back down. Now we have this little fair value gap here. I want to see that get inverted. I want to see that get inverted. If this holds as support, then I'm probably just not going to trade. See, and if it does come down, that would line up with the power of 3, because we had the open high, low, close. We had the open and we've been high. See, here's the midnight price above it. So we'll see right here if we can come down. Take these lows down here. See, now here's the other end of it on the 5-minute. Well, we still have 4 minutes. Never mind. I was going to say we could potentially be getting a fair value gap here. But that's be 4 minutes before that happens. Needs to come down, close below this. So it could always reach up here to this higher 15-minute fair value gap as well before dropping. So I just have to wait and see. If I measure out the high here, low here of this range, equilibrium will be right here, right at the top of this 15-minute fair value gap. Now, if we do make a higher high here, and then we can take this low, we would have a bearish breaker if it came down. But it's not showing. It's built that support right here. So we'll see what happens. It's getting close to 10:30. May not. I might have just missed it because that was the best entry right here. Had a big stop, but that was it. This was the move. Right here, 947, 948. And the reason why I don't trust longs right now is because of these fair value gaps here going down. Like, it is nice that it did trade right up through this volume imbalance. We are rebalancing this 15-minute. If we do go above this here, then we're likely. All right, let me get rid of this. We're likely to go ahead and head up to this one, but obviously there's still some turbulence in between. But see what it does. This is where, if it does come down, it would be nice to take this low because then you'd have a bearish breaker. But it's not really looking like it wants to. It may go ahead and just trade all the way back up here. If that's the case, it'll be no trade for me. Now we're touching the bottom of that daily fair value gap again. Excuse me. Previous day high, midnight open right here. And remember, I've been more neutral on the long-term bias just because we did finally on Friday have that up close candle on the daily chart, and we could be heading for that higher daily fair value gap now. So we'll see. Yeah. We inverted this 15-minute gap now on the 15-minute chart. See that? Inverted it. See if it holds as an inversion. It's likely to trade all the way up to here now. So with that being said, it's now 10:30. My framework lined up with this one. I missed it. Didn't get it. Now it's shifted to the long side. It's probably going to trade up to this 15-minute fair value gap up here. But there wasn't even really an entry for me that I liked going long. There's too much confliction. The 15-minute bearish fair value gap that we had there was in the way. I couldn't go long on this because of that. So I was looking to see if it would have traded into that 15-minute and displaced further down lower. Did not. So it happens. Sometimes it happens. You can't catch them all. Can't catch them all. So let's see. This area right here, yeah, I think from right around here, 21,000 up to maybe 030 area, we may see a drop from there. See what happens here. Look at this fair value gap. You got to wait and see. Start reading and seeing which PD rays start failing. That's where you got to see. I almost said this. This isn't Pokemon. I almost said that. Trump will have to decide on tariffs this afternoon. Okay, tariff decisions come this afternoon, looks like. Yeah, so basically, so that's how, like, when I'm trading here, I build my framework, I look for my entry, I either get it or I don't get it. It happens or it doesn't happen. Or, if I miss it, then I can still have a few ideas that I can trade off of. But if none of them come to fruition, I just can't click a button. Like, I can't. Like, it is what it is. I just can't click a button. I got to wait. Like, if I was to sit here longer, I would wait to see this area that I just mentioned, to 21,000 up to like 030-ish, 040 area, right in this area. Wait to see how price reacts there. And if I get another market structure shift and a short, I mean, these lows right here are too clean. It's too clean. I'm pretty sure price can come down and sweep this low. It may just need to run up here first. That's what I'd be watching for. But when that happens, it could be between now and 11:30. I don't know. It could be now. It could like happen now. But so here's that fair value gap that I'd be watching to see if it gets inverted. You could, if you really thought it was going to go short, you could short this fair value gap right here. But I wouldn't do that. I like for it to reach, find another, invert another PD array, and then displace back again. So, like we just inverted this fair value gap here. So now I'd be watching to see if we get displacement in a fair value gap right here. And if we get this fair value gap here, that might be what we need to go and take these lows here. I don't know if we'd take all of it and keep going, but this is too smooth down here. We're likely to take this. If this rebalances here, then I'm not looking to do anything. And then from here, let's say it did have an entry here, 945 up to this high. That's a better, I'd probably just put it right up here. So that'd be like my regular stop size. I'd feel much better with that trade. Obviously, it didn't happen, but so that's it for me. That's it. Today, there was a beautiful trade. That trade was really nice. I missed it, and it happens, and I'm not worried about it either, because when I was looking back, just like I said, in hindsight, I would have had to have a really big stop, and a bigger stop than normal, and sometimes that can mess with you a little bit. So anyways, all right, y'all, it is past my time by 5 minutes. And if I were still going to be trading, I'd watch for displacement here, but I got to hop off. So I will be back tomorrow, and I hope y'all have a great rest of your day. If you're going to keep trading, as always, trade well, everybody. Take care. See you later.
Yeah.